Hey guys, welcome to the GM's table. And today I'm going to do a bit of a game story because outside my ETU game, which I stream, I'm running two other games right now. I have a 5th edition game that I'm not streaming and my basic fantasy game that I am streaming. And I want to compare my 5th edition game to my basic fantasy game because in 5th they just recently hit 5th level. And in 5th edition, it's kind of like 3rd, but even a little more so, but also less complicated, where players are constantly getting new mechanics and new widgets and new upgrades whenever you gain levels in a class. Basic Fantasy is the exact opposite. A fighter in Basic Fantasy starts by being able to go, I can use any weapon, I can wear any armor, I have an attack bonus. Everybody has an attack bonus. Fighters get to go, my attack bonus goes up a little faster than everybody else. Rogues get to go, I get some skills. Clerics get to go, I can use a weapon and cast spells, but just divine stuff. And magic users go, well, I can use a dagger, and I get some spells, like 1 or 2. Like, magic users will get their slots, and they get a more tangible progression, but even then, by Basic's actual rules, wizards, don't learn spells. You have to always be finding your new spells. You just get new slots. And I think fighters are a really good example of this, where literally it's just the base attack bonus goes up a little bit each time. And that's it. And you get your hit die, so you get more hit points. That's the only progression you get in basic. Compare that to 5th, where we can go to any class and be like, oh, you get this, then this, then this, then this, and this, and we have all these pages of stuff. Now, here's the thing. I'm not knocking one or the other. I enjoy both. I do. It's why I'm running both. I'm actually running a bit of a spin on either of them. My 5th edition is heavily using the Xanathar's rules. I think they actually make 5th edition an even better game. My basic fantasy is using the skill specialization supplement. Or not class specialization supplement. So every class has a little thing. It's not these big things, but we have a heavy armor fighter, so his AC's 1 higher, and he takes 1 less damage every time he does take damage. That's it. It doesn't keep going. That's what it is. So then we go and we look. Well, I'm designing my 5th edition game. It's literally, now granted, they are also level 5. It's this world where I have this huge hex crawl now that they've opened up, and I have temples everywhere that I know they could hit any of them. And yeah, they're higher level dragons for them to go around. They're designed to be taken on at about level 10, but I've also run enough 5th. I know my experienced players can take them out at 5th if they're good at what they do, if they've optimized builds especially. And then we go to Basic Fantasy. And in Basic Fantasy, they just now reached 2nd level because the XP is also much slower in Basic. And they're still on their first quest where they're dealing with this Duke's Keep, but they found out there's a portal to the land of the dead in the keep, and the Duke's family is this line that's protecting the portal, and they're supposed to be against necromancers, but the Duke himself may have become a necromancer. But on top of all that, because of how slow healing is in Basic, they went back to town and had to kind of leave their quest going, well, we know he's in the land of the dead, so he's not coming back anytime soon. We gotta go heal. And while they're spending a week in town, the magic user found out about a nearby wizard's tower and went and talked to the wizard, and the wizard told him that if he can fetch the feather of a bear, the wizard will teach him a spell. And quickly they're like, oh, an owlbear. And I'm like, yeah, an owlbear. But I think them in their last session where they decide to go off and hunt an owlbear perfectly encapsulates why I love OSR games where you don't have a lot of mechanics and you don't have a lot of effects and class abilities. Because I'm going to throw the video up here because it was session 3 and it is the game I'm actually streaming. But the entire session they're going, alright, so we got to go take on an owlbear. At this point they were actually level 1. Taking on the owlbears, pop them to level 2. And any level 1 character would be. I will also point out, I'm actually running them as what I like to call legends in Basic, where they start with extra hit points equal to their con score. There's a lot of health in Basic. It basically means they're kind of the equivalent of 5th level in Basic Fantasy, only their attack bonuses are a little lower. But the class specializations, if you're a combat class, more than make up for it. So they're about equal to what 5th level for most Basic Fantasy games would be. And they're like, we got to take down an owlbear. And they're looking into it. And as they do their research, they're like, oh, owlbears are like normal bears. Well, yeah. Well, that means there might not be one. There might be like a mate. There might be a whole pack. And they start getting nervous. Now, I've had these situations happen in 5th. I've had them happen back when I was ranked 3-4. I even had them happen when I was ranked 4th. And in all of those, it goes either someone steps in and is like, guys, it's fine. Look at this build I have. I deal so much damage, and owlbear can't touch me. Or they'll go, we need to find this magic item. Or, hey, can I craft this magic item? Depending on the edition. And all this kind of stuff. And they're looking in the rule book for these fiddly ways to get around it. Like, what tricks does my class have that I can prep for? Let's build the tactics. These are basically like our little packets of strategies. Let's build a strategy. Now, there is something nice to that. Again, like I said, I'm not saying one or the other, but what I loved about Basic was they went, what's your attack bonus? And their fighter that they had with them rolled 18 strength. And he's a heavy weapon fighter, so his attack bonus isn't massive, but his overall, he has like +5 to hit. It's really good. And he's heavy weapon, so he can take a blow, maybe up to 3, and an owlbear can make 3 attacks in a round. That's when they go, let's buy a net. Let's throw a net on it. Well, wait, no, he's too strong. Like, we could get him in a net, but how long is that going to hold? Well, let's go buy fish hooks. And then they bought a net, they bought 50 fish hooks, and they had their characters at a tavern table for the night while they're drinking and eating dinner, threading fish hooks in this net. Anybody coming near is like, yeah, we're going to go hunt an owlbear. We want hooks in a net. Now, I will say, the net hook didn't work. Now, not for lack of trying for them. If it had hit, I ruled it would hold it for 2d4 rounds, and every round it's trying to break free deals 1 point of damage, because its hook's tearing in the flesh, and owlbear's not smart enough to stop. However, they set it up as a trap. Whole thing there about the tactics at the cave, where they realize there's more than one owlbear, and they wait for the biggest one to go hunting and decide, all right, well, he might be the biggest, but at least he's alone. And they drop the net, it dodges the net, someone goes to pick up the net and throw it, and rolls a 1 and wraps themselves up. And eventually a web spell, because the magic user forgot that web was by volume. He gets like 2 spells at this point, and he had web. And he was like, oh my god, I have web. We can bind him. We can do what we wanted to with the net. And the entire session was them not looking through books, not looking at builds or options. It was them thinking as their characters, going, what do we have that we can use? Now, yes, it was still looking and trying to be tactical and exploring, but I think the disconnect between what is a optimum character build and in-world thinking of, well, we're in a town. Do they have a net? Well, it's not a fishing village, but yeah, there might be a net. Same thing as like they got the hooks because they actually got real lucky because trade's been bad. But they went and they had to interact with people, and they had to get these items, and they had to think it through. And then when they got the items, it wasn't just an ability in a book. So then they went, well, now we got to put them together. It wasn't like I'm making you make rolls left and right, but they had to be creative. And there's a part of me that I'm really happy I'm running Basic on Fridays as the filler game, because originally we had 7 worlds going on. It'll hopefully get to finish that game, but we kept having people have scheduling issues. So I went, let's run some Basic for a while. And I forgot how much I miss players having to be creative. Like I said, it's not a knock on one style or the other, but if you've only ever run more modern D&D games, check out the OSR games. When you look at your character sheet, you're going to go, I am so underpowered. That's fine. Because if you know what you're doing as a player, if you get creative, you don't need to be super powerful. Heroics don't come from being a superhero. Heroics come from the actions you do. Anyways, I hope that was a kind of informative, slight ramble of a video, and I'll catch you guys later. Bye. If you like that video, check out another video over here. Whatever it is, it's probably pretty good. Don't forget to like, share, so other people can find the channel, and subscribe right up there. YouTube now won't let me put a link to the Patreon, but there is a link down in the description below. So if you want to help support the channel, check that out, and I will catch you guys next time.